This is the Emergency Medical Minute, sponsored by Health One.
All right, welcome to the Medical Minute for this morning. Anna suggested I should teach you how to make toilet paper at home. That would be a good medical minute. But instead, we're going to talk about cholera. Cholera, yes. So when we hear the phrase cholera, we think of like old-timey, you might have died in the Old West from your cholera. That's only because we live in the United States and we have virtually no cholera here. But cholera has actually wiped out large segments of the population through 6 previous pandemics in the world. And we're currently considered in the 7th pandemic of cholera, which has actually been going on since 1961. So most of this information is from the World Health Organization website. So cholera originated in its home was in the Ganges basin of India, and then sometime in the late 1700s or 1800s it spread across the world. Thankfully, where we have great sanitation in the U.S., this is a problem we're largely shielded from. But just a few fun facts. It's a bacterial illness. It's waterborne. It causes very severe diarrhea, and it can kill you if left untreated within just the course of a few hours. Researchers estimate that every year there are between 1.3 million and 4 million cases of cholera, and that up to 143,000 people die from cholera each year. So, coronavirus kind of pales in comparison to the cholera that's ongoing every year and we don't seem to worry nearly as much about. You can treat up to 80% of cases with just simple oral rehydration solution, which is made out of just clean water, salt, and sugar. There's an official WHO recipe for that. Interestingly, I saw there's some alternative oral rehydration therapies recommended, including breast milk, gruel, which again, I thought gruel was like, I don't know, what the nun feeds you when you're in an orphanage in London in 1840, but gruel is still recommended. Carrot soup or rice water congee, which I don't know exactly what that is, but it sounds delicious. I'm going to order it the next time I go out for Thai food. There are safe oral cholera vaccines. There are actually 3 of them, but unfortunately they're not widely available, and that's why cholera is such a big killer each year. And there is kind of a global initiative right now to not necessarily completely eradicate cholera. They don't think that's necessarily feasible, but to get the deaths down by 90% by the year. It was launched in 2017. I don't know what their goal is for when they're supposed to accomplish that. And then the reason I started thinking about this is because, did I lose it? I was looking on a website of the deadliest pandemics of all time, which I won't list for you now. Maybe we'll save that for another medical minute. But the honorable mention was actually cholera. It didn't even make the top 5 pandemics of all time. And coronavirus is certainly not in the top 5 pandemics of all time. But the reason that cholera is interesting is because it would kind of swept in modern epidemiology and public health initiatives. In 1849, there was a young physician, John Snow, love that name, John Snow, who published some of his theories about cholera. He was one of the first people who thought that it was due to contaminated water. Everybody just kind of thought it was due to evil humors or, witch casting a hex on you or whatever. But in 1855, he was able to do careful interviews and map out the city of London where there was a large cholera outbreak, and he determined that it was coming from one single contaminated water pump, and as soon as he shut that down, the cholera epidemic ended. So it was like this first amazing success of public health. We are not yet seeing the same success in public health measures with coronavirus, but it all kind of harkens back to that first positive experience in the 1800s. So chin up, you don't have cholera.
We are on a quest to provide the world with free medical education. Please help us out by rating us on iTunes, following us on social media, and subscribing to our newsletter at emergencymedicalminute.com.